Shalom to the sons and daughters of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob.
Hate evil and love the good.
Holy lineage, stuck on this earthly pilgrimage, lost or will to live, the kingdom's at hand, place to biz because of mental explosion, brain corrosion, collecting heads and Romans, awakening the
He's going to put prophecy in Ezra's mouth.
and it's the chosen, while the universe stands frozen, the prophecies start unfolding, exploding, while the whole world sleeps, the shepherds are lost, sheep creep deep to the golden gates. It's Esau, the Lord hates from crimes of thievery to even murder and rape, because his rapes watch him like grapes, while these fakes that perpetrate, my people's there's no equal in this. We do the Deuteronomy 7 and 6. I know it's hard like bricks, but don't trip, we got the kingdom coming. No more slumming and bumming, the Lord's coming. Busting through, reach St. John 4 and 22, and guess who? The Lord's got a sword for, settle the score. All you heathens hit the floor. See these 12 stars, defenders of the law. Tiger wasn't up to par for this. Scandalous, murderous, evangelists who's girded up, ready to die for the words of the script. We too wise to be dumb. The hell with ice, we want the kingdom. Let's get out these sons and tell them where we from. Israel, you heard this, tuck tail, the bell, your rhymes is trail. You stepped in the zone when we excel. We too wise to be dumb. The hell with ice, we want the kingdom. Let's get out these sons
Like you said, everybody got an opinion, right? But not according to wisdom and understanding.
I pop my collar like Spawn.
Yeah, you got two choices, man. Take the blue or the red pill. Take the blue pill, stay your ass in the world and keep on eating microwave dinners. You wanna take the red pill? You can come out and wine and dine with me. It's a mouth, man, let's do it. I got a Kevlar mind with Teflon rhymes, antidote to venomous minds that decline the truth. Trapped in a box, thoughts locked, programmed to be spooked. I'm on some lynch mob shit, Buck the devil programmed to shoot. And got some steel at the tip of my boots just to regulate. We can get it all night tomorrow, just name the date. And don't hesitate, being a gangster ain't no good if your thoughts is featherweight. I don't care who got the best team, I'm here to drop the word and keep it moving like jet streams. The luster green got my niggas moving like dope fiends. You gotta see the picture, but they ain't made for flat screens. Lemur Park and Skid Row was where he's last seen. Survivalist with holy water filled in his canteen. The boogeyman's here to put an end to American dreams. I'm out of sight of extraterrestrial beings. Everything the Most High does, I hold it sacred. No stopping the sons of Jacob, you still plugged in the matrix. Me, I took the red pill, shook the snakes and the demons, keep it moving like a tracks on a treadmill. When I say I'm a Jew, I'm dead real. It's hard hats and flashlights on the hunt for Israel. We in the last days to see the killer be killed, but niggas is caught up with talking trucks and big wheels. Yo, heavyweight Solomon jewels, I use knowledge to rule, rejecting wisdom as an act of a fool. Christ is king, born to rule, let's take him to school. Open up the sword, baby, let it do what it do. Simple as that, Van Helsing the rap. I swing lefty when I'm holding the bat, righty when I'm holding the cat, man. On the highway to heaven, dipping out in the fast lane. I let my hair grow, OD'd on Rogaine. Spit the hot shit, taking shots of propane. SOJ created our own lane, pacing for a queen, got no time for a dumb dame. Nowadays to be heard, I gotta be rude and profane. Dumb down my knowledge, make me look like I'm some lame. It's a trip of niggas with chump change, be so vain. It's the principle of truth, IQAhmath his first name. Come on, everything the Most High does, I hold it sacred. No stopping the sons of Jacob, you still plugged in the matrix. Me, I took the red pill, shook the snakes and the demons, keep it moving like a tracks in a treadmill. When I say I'm a Jew, I'm dead real. It's hard hats and flashlights on the hunt for Israel. We in the last days to see the killer be killed, but niggas is caught up with talking trucks and big wheels. Yeah, okay, so understand what I'm putting out there. Red pillars only, okay? You wanna take the blue pill, microwave, popcorn your ass to death, go ahead. You know, I ain't got time for that, man. I'm too focused for that. The soldiers that I roll with is too focused for that. So if you wanna get down, get your mind right, come and holler at me, you know? Because when your Howard Shah comes back, it's a rap like a gypsy mummy. A lot of these heathens wanna trip and act a fool. I thug it out for the Lord, I don't need no tattoos. We drop bombs with the Bible while you stand there baffled, looking like you seen a ghost. I'm with the Lord of hosts. Still keep a hood, crack the yak, and we can take a toast. Cheers.
All right, shalom, shalom, peace, welcome. Shabbat shalom to the family that's in the house, man, to the saints of Yasha Allah. It's your brother IQAhmath, IQAhmath, first name IQ is all the same. You've reached another episode of DSTM, Don't Shoot the Messenger, where you are going to get the raw and uncut current events from a biblical perspective. If you've been around, you've been picking up what I've been putting down. If you have not, don't get too close because you might get shot. Salute to the families in the house, man. Prayerfully, everybody is doing okay or well on this blessed rest day of Yahweh by Shema Mashiach Yahushai. Warning, all the pieces are falling into place, man. Hopefully, everybody's been following along and understanding and seeing the pattern of the prophecies all unfolding, man. You got Europe on fire over there. America is dwindling down to its last straw. World wars jumping off, earthquakes still rattling in diverse places. I mean, you've got the famine, the pestilence, the plagues. You've got Esau now, lobbying now to have their own forms of segregation in towns and homes that they want to occupy now. I mean, you've got former U.S. White House officials saying that the country's in a lot of trouble. Agent Orange is doing what he does. And the Most High is, continually moving all the pieces necessary for the children of Israel to be awakened, to repent, to be gathered together, the sealing of the elect, and everything's progressing in proper motion. No sound? Are you serious? You trying to tell me I've been speaking all this time and ain't nothing coming out? I checked my mic earlier. Hold on. Mic check, check, check. 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. If I'm coming in clear, man, if y'all can hear me, let me know. Was it just Aladad or did nobody else hear me from the beginning? Did y'all just hear me when I double checked the mic, or have I been okay since you see me moving my lips? Help me out, y'all. Okay, all praises, Rosemary. I guess maybe Aladad was having no technical issues. But nonetheless, man, prayerfully everybody's doing well on the Shabbat, man. We got a lot to cover, man. I'm going to try to be concise. I'm going to try to get to it. But as per usual, man, we're going to get right into it, man. Right into it. Let's open this up. Oops. It'd be nice if I was sharing. I think I'm going to share it this way. Okay. And let me know if this is popping up. For some reason, I don't see it showing. Share it that way. Okay. So here we go. All right. So all praise to the Most High, man. Your man's already out here talking crazy, right? They're proclaiming that the U.S. is locked and loaded, and they are prepared to do massive strikes, worse than what they've ever been doing. B-1 bombers is flying over there, B-1 bombers is over there. Trump is talking about wiping them out and ceasing them from existence or whatnot. When you get Esau, man, talking reckless like this, now we know he's got a propensity to fall back on his words and always, for lack of better terms, pump faking, But at this point, man, we got to just take everything that he says for face value until he runs with it. But let's look at Psalm 59. We're going to read 5 down to 8. It says, "Thou therefore, O Yahweh, the power of hosts, the God of Israel, awake to visit all the heathen." This is what we pray for, man. We're praying for the Most High to visit all the heathen, man, to judge them, to put them in subjection, to be able to motivate and move them in the positions that the Most High needs necessary to transfer one kingdom to the next. Because as we know, the kingdom of Christ is the next kingdom that we're praying for. That's the kingdom that we want to serve. That's the kingdom that we want to inhabit. We don't want to keep inhabited and dealing with these heathen, man, and these unruly heathen out here, man, that's ruling by unrighteousness and all manners of wickedness. So the awakening that we're praying for the Most High is to visit these heathen, man, and he is visiting them. This is why we see all the movement going on globally. Nation rising against nation, kingdom against kingdom, right? Wars, rumors of wars. We're seeing famines and plagues plaguing the heathen, man. You had like over 250,000 people in Italy, and I believe in France, having to get moved because the Most High done set that whole them countries on fire over there. The Most High is visiting these heathen, man. So the prayers are being answered. We're seeing results. Okay. And I got a video about that later on. But nonetheless, right? It says, awake to visit all the heathen, be not merciful to any wicked transgression, Selah. So when we see the judgment of the Most High coming down, it said the wicked transgressors. Remember, that includes 2/3 of Israel, man. You're going to see our people. Remember, the Most High said the judgment must begin at the house of the Lord first. So even within our own nation, man, we're going to see some detrimental things. We're going to see some horrific things that's happening to our own people. You know, when we see the things that's going on, you know, the ongoing investigations with Nolan Wells. I mean, these are some of the things that we're seeing that the Most High is bringing to the attention. Of course, media-wise, you know, it's a thing of interest for us. But you know, we constantly go through these particular grief cycles and these affliction, you know, cycles where there's somebody that's always highlighted during particular presidencies. You know, now they're starting to make the, you know, the rounds on social media with say his name, you know, Nolan Wells, you know, same way they did with George Floyd and, you know, Sandra Bland and, you know, Mike Brown, Trayvon Martin. We constantly have a martyr, you know, for us to cling to every year. And, you know, it doesn't change until the children of Israel actually repent from our ways. You know, now we're getting, you know, the conspiracy and not even really conspiracy because it's facts. You know, what's going on with the Nolan Wells investigation and the autopsies and the original autopsy being withheld and the secondary autopsy, you know, being inconclusive because they can't, you know, compare it to the first. And, you know, the court case is being, all the evidence now is being sealed until grand jury testimony comes. I mean, we're seeing all kind of madness going on with that. But that's just case in point, man, that the Most High said he's not going to show mercy to any wicked transgressors either, you know, and we see that the detriment of keeping company with those that are not of our nation. I mean, Peter told us that. And not to go off on the Nolan Wells thing, man, it's just in the spirit, right? Acts 10 and verse 28. And it says, and he said unto them, ye know that it is an unlawful thing for a man that is a Jew to keep company or to come unto one of another nation. But the Most High has shown me that I should not call any man common or unclean. So the point of the matter is that you got to watch the company that you keep, man. The Most High told us, man, you ain't supposed to be hanging with these heathens like that. Do you have to be around them? Do you have to conduct business with them? Do you have interactions with them? Sure. Here we are in captivity. We're in the great, quote unquote, melting pot of America. You're going to have interactions with the nations, man. Period, point blank. They're the ones hiring and firing. They're the ones that you got, you know, you're going to the merchants to buy and sell different things. If you're independent and you're an entrepreneur, you still got to get your business license from them. You still got to go register things within their court system. I mean, you're going to have to deal with them, man. You can't live a life. This is not the place where you're going to live a life of segregation and complete independence. And we're not, you know, you got people saying, oh, I'm off grid. But guaranteed, they done bought some supplies and stuff from the heathen and whatnot. You're utilizing the internet to broadcast the fact that you're, quote unquote, off grid. I mean, you're using this system one way or the other, right? But the fact is keeping company. When you hanging around and you're declaring these people as your quote unquote friends and you're trusting in them, you can see what ends up happening, right? So that's why the Most High says, man, mercy's not going to be shown to us, and dang sure ain't going to be shown to the heathen, right? It says they return to even. They make a noise like a dog and go round about the city. So the heathen are out here making a loud noise right now. Everything that we're seeing globally go on throughout the earth. You know, they say hit dogs holler. Yeah, a lot of the nations now, because of the war, because of inflation, the gas and the oil prices and the energy costs is skyrocketing. The lack of food and resources is jumping off. The farmers are suffering. The stock market, the crypto holders, the people holding the precious metals, everybody's taking an L right now. Now you hear the dogs barking, man, for multiple nations wanting to go to war. Who's going to get involved? Who's not going to get involved? Whose economies are being affected the most? They make a noise like a dog and go round about the city. They want everybody to hear. And you know, sometimes you get that annoying dog that is barking and barking and barking and barking and barking all day long. And you say, man, somebody need to put that dog down Something's wrong with that dog. The dog is deranged. The dog maybe got rabies, foaming at the mouth, going to tear somebody up. Got to put him down before he infects the rest of the city, before he hurts somebody, hurts a kid. You know, that's how the Most High is looking at these particular nations, man, because he's like, look, some of them got to get put down. In particular, America. Now, continuing on, it says, behold, they belch out with their mouth. Swords are in their lips. Yeah, when we hear about Trump saying they're locked and loaded. Remember last week, he said, I got 1,000 missiles ready to go if they threaten my life. Again, speaking about Iran. Swords in his lips. He said he's ready to obliterate them and wipe them off the map. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Swords are in their lips. For who say they doth hear? So he's saying who's listening? The heathen are always running around here, especially Esau, man, bragging and braggadocious and boastful. Oh, we got a peace deal. We don't got a peace deal. Oh, we're going to obliterate them. Hold on. They want to have a peace deal. They're begging for a peace deal. Oh, they try to assassinate me. Oh, I got to go back and shoot them. Oh, the economy is booming. They're not booming. I mean, anybody that's willing to listen. This man in particular, man, Agent Orange, the orangutan in charge, man, he's trying to get an audience. Verse 8, but thou, O Yahweh, shalt laugh at them. Thou shalt have all the heathen in derision. And that's why we're seeing all the nations scrambling right now. You got not a Jew, man, over here talking about they no longer need financial support from America. They're going to have a combined army now. So, you know, they're talking about merging forces together against all of the rest of the nations that are supposedly against little small hat nation. Right. So America, and in particular, Agent Orange, man, he's living by the sword. And he's doing what he said, you know, he's putting himself in America in a position that judgment has to befall this place. The nations now are risen up against it. You know, we constantly hearing about what's going on between America and NATO and their faltering relationship. The 10 horns spoken of in Revelation 17 and others are saying, hey, they're going to come against this great horde. So America's got problems on all fronts. Now you see here, Psalm 55:21, the words of his mouth are smoother than butter. Oh, they're going to make a deal. Oh, we got a deal. The economy's doing great. Everything sounds smooth. Don't worry. We got it all under control. We got the greatest military in the whole world. I built it under my first administration. Oh, this is my work. Oh, look at the ballroom. Everything's great. Did you enjoy the MMA match? Oh, everybody's going to get wealthy. America's going to be great again. Remember when he first was running and he said, oh, I dropped your little note in your crypto wallets. Remember when he said, oh, we're going to go crypto. I really love crypto. And then he came out with the Trump coin. Remember after he got elected in November 2025? Or was it 2024 is when he got elected, November. And he won the little election in November. And then he dropped a little gem talking about how much he loved Bitcoin and everything else. And Bitcoin was shooting up through the moon. Everybody got paid. He said, hey, look, there's more of that to come once I, fully take office. Or was it 2023? Yeah, 2023, because he took office in 2024 in January. And everybody was all invested, man. They was buying his Bibles and buying his high tops, his Trump shoes and the coins and everything else. And now we see with all of them damn heathen, man, the Latinos for Trump, they was all running around through the streets, man, wrapping themselves in the American flag, and now they running for cover. Scared they're going to get deported. Everybody that, we seen what happened with the investment into the Trump coin. He made billions and everybody else lost hundreds of millions. Now they got buyer's remorse. Why? Because his mouth, the words of his mouth are smoother than butter, but what? But war was in his heart. Remember, he lied and said, there'll be no more forever wars under my administration. I'm shutting it all down. I'm going to end the Ukraine-Russia conflict within 24 hours. Just watch. They're going to listen to me. I got a great relationship with both. I'm going to shut all that down. Meanwhile, here we are in another war. He's bombed at least 7 countries, contemplating some more. War was in his heart, man. He's exercising economic warfare with his sanctions, literal warfare, blood on his hands, bombing girls' schools in Iran and so forth and so on, man. Bombing Nigeria, bombing Yemen. I mean, bombing Somalia. I mean, this dude's all over the place. This is why you say, man, white man speak a forked tongue, because war is in his heart. As much as he lies and says, I'm not for war, I'm the president of peace, he's done just the opposite. His words were softer than oil, yet they are drawn swords. And that's a fact. We see that happening in real time right now, right? Let me get one more before we continue on. Sirach 10 and verse 4. Just so that, you know, like Obadiah says, man, the pride of thy heart have deceived thee. You know, the so-called white man is so pumped up on steroidal pride that he's not going to realize it until he explodes. He just, you know, like a balloon, they're constantly getting blown up before you know it, it pops. That's what's going to happen to him, because he doesn't realize and doesn't respect the fact that the Most High is the one who's in control of it all. The power of the earth is in the hand of the Lord. So the Most High is the chess player. We always talk about him being a master chess player. He's putting everything in place, everything in position, getting ready to lay down the board for checkmate. Right? This is what's happening right now. The power of the earth is in the hand of the Lord. And in due time, here is the patience and the faith of the saints. Thus saith Yahweh, by Hashem HaMashiach Yahweh Shai. And in due time, he will set over it one that is profitable. So 2 Ezra 6 tells us that Esau is the end of the world. Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth it. Under the king and the rulership of Mashiach Yahweh Shai, that's when it will be profitable again. Right now, there's no profit in the earth, man. The scriptures tell you that the earth is defiled under the inhabitants thereof. In Isaiah, the 24th chapter, Psalms 11 says that the foundations are the course. What can the righteous do? There's no profitability. Let me get that right. Profitability. Slow it down, IQ. Profitability in the earth right now. It's completely being defiled. You know, from the spraying of the chemicals in the air, the water, the food, that's, you know, all done. Even from the earth and the ground itself is not yielding the nutrients and the minerals that it once did, right? The profitability for the average Joe Schmo to be able to reach the quote unquote American dream, that's out. They're already setting up class warfare. It's going to be the haves and the have-nots, the rich against the poor, so forth and so on. That's already been in motion. This is why you see the poly market bets, you know, the big wig billionaires, man, that's over here laying down these bets on the war, and here they are profiting off of death and destruction and warfare. And everybody else is sitting back like, damn, I'm just losing money in the stock market. I'm just losing money investing in this and in that. They told me it was going to be profitable. I don't see it. What's going on? Help. The billionaire class, they're making their money, man. They're going for broke. You see what happened with, what's her name? Elon, when he went and put SpaceX on the market. They pumped that thing up, man. Oh, this could be the next big thing. He get in. The IPO is approved. They're going to get in. That thing's been falling faster than ever. And they just get more money and scrape the money off the top, man, and keep it moving. You don't see, you still, when's the last time anybody even uttered the word or the name Epstein? I mean, there was supposed to be an investigation that was going to be profitable for all, because they were going to expose the PDF files that was running the earth and the PDF files that was doing all kind of debauchery and wickedness. And, you know, they was going to get hung up on a string, man. The gallows was going to get put out. He was going to get put to death over. None of that's going on, man. So the Most High said that in due time, he's going to set one over that's going to be profitable. We're waiting for that time. Okay, dropping down, let me just read a little bit. Verse 8, it says, because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches got by deceit, the kingdom is translated from one people to another. That's guaranteed. These are all things that's going on in the earth, man. Unrighteous dealings, just like we talked about earlier with Nolan Wells and all of the rest of the martyrs of our people that have got put to death, harassed, dog sicked on them, and, you know, all of the great men and the righteous that are resting right now, according to Revelation 6 and the I forgot what seal it is. It's either the third or fourth seal. It said the righteous are crying for when will their blood be avenged. All the victims of unrighteous dealings, man, waiting for judgment. The Lord said that these are all things, case studies and evidences that lead up to the conviction of our oppressors. Unrighteous dealings, injuries, riches got by deceit. This is why the kingdom is going to be translated from so-called white man and the heathen that are profiteering off of it, meaning, according to Revelation 18, about the merchants of the earth that lived deliciously with her and drank the wine of the fornication and, have aligned themselves with this great whore, i.e. Babylon. They're all going to have their powers and their inheritances within the earth translated from one people to another. That next people is the children of Israel. Dropping down verse 13, it says, "For pride is the beginning of sin, and he that hath it shall pour out abomination." So again, going back to Obadiah, when it says the pride of thy heart hath deceived thee, going back all the way to Genesis, the pride of Eve, taking on the knowledge of good and evil, listening to the false words of Satan, telling her, "Oh, once you partake of this knowledge, you won't surely die." The Most High said, "You're gonna die." That ain't gonna happen. Once you get this, your eyes are gonna be opened up. Like, you really gonna see the truth. Paraphrasing that. That's the pride. That's when sin began. Sin lied at the door. When sin came in, death lied at the door. Pride is the beginning of sin. The wages of sin is death. So when judgment came to Esau and it says that the pride of thy heart hath deceived thee, that pride is what's going to have his kingdom be taken from him and he get put to death. And he that hath it shall pour out abomination, and therefore the Lord brought upon them strange calamities and overthrew them utterly. So this place is going to be utterly overtaken, destroyed. The Lord hath cast down the thrones of proud princes and set up the meek in their stead. Yahweh told us the meek shall inherit the earth, right? The Lord hath plucked up the roots of the proud nations and planted the lowly in their place. Well, who's at the bottom right now? Blacks, Native Americans, Hispanics, globally are at a low place right now. Third world country living conditions, constantly being under persecution and subjection to higher powers, colonized lands stolen from them, living on reservations, etc., man. We're the next ones who's going to be risen up. It's not going to be transferred from another global power to another global power. China sitting back saying they got next, they're jockeying for power. No, the Lord said the lowly is going to be put in the next place. The Lord overthrew countries of the heathen and destroyed them to the foundations of the earth. Did it say the countries of the Israelites? No. The target audience, the target is the heathen. They're the ones running and ruling everything. Those are the countries and the kingdoms that need to be overthrown. The Lord overthrew countries of the heathens and destroyed them to the foundations of the earth. He took some of them away and destroyed them and have made their memorial to cease from the earth. So the memories of some of these heathen nations, man, will cease from the earth. This is why when Obadiah, going back to that good book and that powerful prophet, when he said there shall be none remaining of the house of Esau, that's a memorial where they will cease from the earth, man. There'll be no need to remember the proud man, the boastful man, the abominable man that ruled the earth for centuries in defiance of the Most High and wanted to be like the Most High. Okay, that will cease, but it all got to start somewhere. And this guy right here, Agent Orange, man, praise the Most High for him, man, because this guy done really turned up the heat, man. Like I said last week and times before, Slow Biden did a good job, handling of the pandemic and everything else, man, that he put in motion. And now this guy done took the reins and he's running with it, man. So Trump readies a massive attack on Iran as U.S. floods the Middle East with troops and bombers for strikes bigger than ever before. So that Middle East conflict is only escalating. Scriptures say that that's where much of the warfare leading into World War III is going to take place, in the Middle East and in Europe and Eastern Europe. And then it will also land over here. This is the goose that laid the golden egg, man. The Most High is reserving judgment for this place last. The nations are going to kick off things, man. But then when this place gets touched, that's when you know it's over. So look at this. Donald Trump said Thursday he was near a decision on a serious escalation of attacks on Iran as oil hit its highest price in 2 months, and Tehran-backed Houthi rebels opened a new front in the Red Sea. I'm considering a massive attack bigger than ever before, the president told Axios. I'm close to making a decision. We're all set for it. So, he's throwing out bigger threats, thinking that they're going to back down, and we'll see what ends up happening. But right now he's saying, I'm considering it. He thinks if he puts it out there in the atmosphere, he puts it out there in the spirit, that Iran is going to finally, acknowledge it and cower down somehow. They haven't backed down yet. So he needs to either get on with it or figure it out. It says Trump added that Iran wanted a deal, but had not yet felt enough pain to properly negotiate. He did not say when he would finalize his decision. So, the tagline is always they want to make a deal, when clearly that's a lie, right? But he said that I ain't whooped them enough yet, so I don't want to hear about no deals. All along, America's the one who's always been coming to negotiate new deals. You never hear Iran saying, hold on, we want peace. We've got a deal. The last little 12-point plan, that was from America. Everything got violated when America started allowing the small hats to bomb Lebanon. Everything ended up switching up when he jumped out the window and started lying about the terms and conditions of the Strait of Hormuz. And they was like, we didn't agree to that. What's he, huh? America's going to control everything. The straits opened up. We can't tax nobody coming through. We never said that. This guy's lying. Prepare for the onslaught. So words of his mouth smooth and butter, but war is in his heart. Look at this, Iran war, live updates, oil prices surge after attacks in the Red Sea. So now not only has, and I don't know if everybody caught it, in the previous article, it said that the Houthis now are controlling the Red Sea. So it's expanded from the Strait of Hormuz. Now they're also locking down the waterways and the transportation coming through the Red Sea, which is now going to expand the war. The price of Brent crude rose to more than $99 a barrel after Iran's Houthi allies in Yemen claimed strikes on 2 Saudi tankers. President Trump warned that the U.S. would hold Iran directly responsible for further attacks by the group. So this is all bad too, because I'm sure most of y'all have noticed, gas prices are starting to rise back up again, right? Now it's at $99 a barrel. Once it gets over 100, once it gets into the 115, 120, 140, it's a wrap. That's when Trump was talking about bedlam in the streets. When he already said, what was it, at least 2 weeks ago, they only got 4 weeks of oil left, which, begs the reason as to why he's talking about he wants to step up these attacks more, because that supply is running low. Okay, and Iran is saying, okay, well, guess what? We're going to go seize another aspect of how oil flow goes through. So the Red Sea, and you got the Strait of Hormuz. Right? U.S. surges forces toward the Middle East, giving Trump options to expand the Iran war. So here they go. They're talking about expansion of the war. There's not a condensing. This thing is going to get even bigger. They're talking about ground troops next. Once the ground troops hit, they have to officially declare it that this is war. He's going to have to go through Congress and, tell them, hey, you know what? We've got to get this approved so we can go all out. A 60-day memorandum and all that, they had to get approval from Congress. They bypassed that. Congress shut it down. They had to hold off. That's why they was running game about the whole little peace deal and everything else. And now they can say, hey, Iran broke it and they bombed these tankers. And, look at the U.S. bases. The death toll now is rising up. We got to do something. And look at the prices. Look at America suffering. But all this came from him. The influx of troops, medics, and weaponry follows the deaths of 3 American soldiers in the Iranian attack at a base in Jordan. The U.S. is surging forces, medics, and weaponry to the Middle East to give President Trump more muscular military options as he considers expanding the conflict against Iran, according to people familiar with the matter. So we see an expansion and the growth of the war, more troops. You know, they already got the mandatory registration for the draft coming up at the end of the year. So they're already thinking and foreshadowing ahead that they're going to have to expand and they're going to get a draft to get some more bodies out there. You know, Europe is already doing conscription. They already got their draft going. They already been doing it in Russia and Ukraine, Germany, all these other countries, man. They like, look, the draft is on, man. We taking everybody and anybody. They snatching up cats from barbershops and the bum on the street, telling them suit up. It's on. U.S. strikes unlikely to move Iran, intelligence reports say. So they've got intelligence. Trump can show out there. He can tell them, I'm going to bomb the hell out of you. Massive strikes are coming. But guess what? It says Iran is not moved by the threats. They've eaten these tacos before. And even if not, you're dealing with a people who faithfully believe that there's honor in dying as a martyr. So they're not scared to die. They're not scared to receive an onslaught of bombing. And they dang sure got the drones and the ballistic missiles to stand behind it and say, well, guess what? We can unleash a damn swarm of bombs at you. And they're willing to do it and been doing it. So the threats is not moving around. So that means that this thing is not going anywhere no time soon, or ceasing anytime soon, I should say. American agencies see a long standoff between Tehran and Washington, as Iran is unlikely to soften its negotiating position because of U.S. military action. So this should tell us something, that since this thing has been going on, man, there's been a lot of economic uncertainty. We've seen not only from the AI surge that layoffs, transferring of positions, companies closing down, even from the economic standpoint, man, there's a lot of these Bitcoin companies that was running and thriving off of Bitcoin. They're closing down because they can't, maintain and deal with the economic uncertainty that's going on with that. Long story short, buckle up and be prepared for the long haul, because as this thing continually escalates, the world and everything that's about it is going to continually deteriorate. Don't get caught up in watching the distractionary things from the housewives of Atlanta and Jersey and the baddies and damn Love and Hip Hop, and then we watching all these other fake millionaires on Instagram and telling you life is great, and you're watching all of these influencers talking about life coaches and how you can manifest your energy and like, listen, man, pay attention to what's tangible, what's in front of you. These things is definitely going down. And America's job is to give you the facade and paint the dream. That's why they say it's the American dream, because as the Edomite comedian George Carlin says, the American dream is just that. It's a dream because you got to be asleep to believe it. That was one of the coldest lines I heard in a long time. He said, brother, the American dream is a dream because you got to be asleep to believe it. And that's a fact. They constantly are putting out all these particular images and distractionary methods through the internet and AI and everything else, man, from the news, the crisis actors, you name it. Anything to keep the dopamine hit going, to keep us locked in and doom scrolling or whatever, entertainment scrolling, or just to believe the lie because you don't want to believe that things is actually that bad. People will shame you for saying, oh, you talking about negative stuff. Oh, man, forget that. I can't listen to that. You're just a negative person. Like, no. Reality and truth is not negative. That's something to be embraced. That's something for us to acknowledge. Listen, Christ even told us, ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. I mean, should we continually lie and just say, no, it's not that bad, man. Everything's going to be great. This happens all the time. This is just worldly cycles. How many times over the years have we shared, and I've shared articles, information, and things that say, oh, this is happening, that's unprecedented. I mean, currently right now, in Arizona. They're saying that they are reaching historic levels of heat. Now, this is a place that always has hot weather. When you're saying that there is reading historic levels of heat, meaning things are changing. You cannot use the excuse this happens all the time. This is just cycles. We will get through this. And no, at some point in time, you got to pause and say, man, this ain't happened before, man. This is unprecedented. That word was being used during 2020 to 2023, 24 like no other. And when you pause and you say, hold on, this is a little different now. I ain't seen this before. How do we deal with this? Earthquakes happening from New York to damn Kansas to Texas to, Mexico, etc. Sometimes you got to pause and say, man, oh, nah, this ain't the same, man. The animals now are they're fighting back. You dig what I'm saying? I'm sure many of y'all seen that that viral video in Yosemite, man, with that buffalo, man, started charging that and getting at them damn Edomites, man, harassing it and taking pictures and hanging around it. And he flipped that old man up there about 12 feet in the air, man, broke his leg, jacked him up. I got a video, man, showing the bears now are even coming out of their hibernation, man. They're on the attack now. We talking about all this stuff. Man, look at that. I got to highlight that, man. My brother's out there going through it. Let me post that up real quick. I don't know how to do it without switching my screen, man. Brother said, man, he broke a record with the heat. Brother said, we broke the record for heat yesterday. On that day, then we had a power outage and no AC, man. That is deadly. Yeah, I seen it was supposed to be like 117, 120 yesterday and this weekend. I mean, that's damn that Death Valley temperatures. So it's this stuff, man, we gotta take notes of, man, and be like, man, shoot. And you never know, man. Pray for the Quabbas family, man, because that ain't no joke. That weather is nasty, right? So nonetheless, we see it continuing on, right? So Iran's not going to be moved by these threats. Okay. Now look at this. The Pentagon sinking billions into Iran war is quickly running short on cash. We've talked about this before. America is going broke over this war. With some funds set to dry up within weeks, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth is set to press lawmakers Tuesday to address the increasingly urgent shortfall. Remember earlier this year, he said we need 200 million. Then they doubled back when they did the quarter budget, and they got a couple more $1 billion. Now that thing is running dry, and they got to go back and panhandle and beg for some more money. America cannot keep up with this war because of its debt. They're already $40 trillion in debt. Now you're saying print more money, sell more, treasury bonds. We got to get the money up somehow, somewhere. We're going to continue fighting. Before you know it, there's going to be a war tax on everything in order to pay. And who's going to end up having to pay for that? You, me, everybody else. Look at this. The Pentagon faces an urgent budget shortfall caused largely by their war in Iran, with some critical lines of funding set to run out within weeks, even as President Donald Trump escalates the conflict with Tehran, according to lawmakers and current and former U.S. officials. This is the point. That's why I said everything's falling into place. When was the last time that you heard America was broke or struggling to get cash? We always know they've been in debt, but they've always been striving and thriving. They've always been able to run around here and dictate policy. But now the headlines are popping up. America is running dry on cash, broke. Oh, think back. Oh, Great Depression days. Yeah, after World War I, all them things that end up happening. The Spanish flu. Yeah, America now is running on those particular levels, man. We're talking about third world conditions now are being brought to America. Rationing of water, rationing of energy, We see food supplies now are being compromised, right? Yeah, that's a whole nother thing, Oscar Rob. Where is that Doge money, man? That thing is gone. And Elon recently came out and said, man, he regrets everything that he did with Doge, man. He got too deep into politics. So he knew that was a whole scam. He spent $200 million backing Trump. Trump rewarded him by giving him the position of heading up a Doge and shutting down all these particular departments within the government and cutting funding on all kind of programs from Medicaid to DEI and U.S. aid and all that other stuff. Took all this money and they supposedly saving money, but where's it at? Man, they lining their pockets up, man. You know where that money is. You know, he got billions of dollars, man, to get funded to build a damn ballroom, but got tent cities all around the damn country where people choosing to live in their cars and live on the streets than to pay unaffordable rents. All right, let's continue. Look at this. Now, looking at this, I brought this out before, but as a reminder for brothers and sisters, right? Looking back again, it said the Pentagon is sinking billions into the war, is running short on cash. Now, we talked about this last week, but let's revisit this because this, again, like I said, at the title of this video and episode of DSTM, everything falling into place. Habakkuk chapter 2 and the 6th verse. Shall not all these take up a parable against him and a taunting proverb against him and say, woe, woe is destruction, right? Woe to him that increaseth that which is not his. So America has been living well off of something that they did not own. This was not theirs. America, this continent was never theirs. They stole it. They created and made all of these bogus peace treaties, man. They grabbed up the land, sold it within each other's nations. They, so-called fought for it. But it was never theirs. They say, oh, the founding fathers, right? They didn't find anything. How can you find a land that's completely been inhabited by highly advanced peoples? The indigenous tribes that was over here were highly advanced, man, building mound temples, had their own water irrigation systems lined up regarding hygiene, living off the land, agricultural advancements that they was doing, structural buildings that was happening over here, a language and a culture. I mean, everything was already over here in the Americas, North, South, Central included, the islands. So he's increasing that which is not his, right? But it says, but for how long? How long can this farce go on? Well, we just reached 250 years, right? And as we've seen historically, well, I'm not gonna say every, but a majority of kingdoms have a 250-year run, and after that, the decline kicks in and it's over with. So America now has reached this precipice of 250. The decline is happening. How long? It says, and to him that ladeth himself with thick clay. Now, the thick clay, this word clay right here, it comes from this word abat, right? In the ancient Paleo, it would be pronounced abayat, which means what? Weight of pledges or heavy debts. Something pledged, i.e. collectively pawn goods or thick clay, right? So it says, woe to him that laid himself or piles on himself what? Heavy debts, right? If America is $40 trillion in debt, the Lord said destruction is going to happen to somebody. You can't live forever off of the notion of as long as I owe you, I'll never be broke. You'll never be broke. Doesn't work like that. Look at this. This is the root word, abat, right? And what does it mean? To take a pledge or to give a pledge? Look down here. A primitive root, to pawn or to lend on security, figuratively to entangle or to borrow, right? This is the context in which America lives. They borrow money, They lend out. They pawn. What do they pawn? They pawn security bonds, treasury bonds to nations to buy their debt, and they guarantee, oh, you'll pay it back in interest. Not only to other nations, but 401k plans and all the other stuff. Man, people invest in America because they say, oh, you're guaranteed to get the money back. Look at our track record. We got A1 credit with the world. Now it's not looking so good. Look at this. I don't know how well y'all can see this, right? Who's buying and selling America's debt? Now, this is a chart from 2024 to 2025, right? Now, if we look at the top three up here, if y'all can see, I don't know how well you can see, I'll highlight it a little bit, right? Many global buyers hold treasuries in London anonymously. So when you're looking over here, who's buying the most in U.S. treasuries? Great Britain, Belgium, and Japan, right? Those are top three. Okay. Now, who's selling the debt? Who's getting rid of this debt? Interestingly enough, the biggest ones who's getting rid of their debt, China, Brazil, India. Why is that important? Because we know of what? The BRICS. Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. The BRICS countries, which are making up their own alternative to the US dollar, they're now, at one time, they were heavily invested in America. They were buying the treasury bonds. They believed in the American dream. They believed in America first, as a Trump would say, right? Revelation 18. Let's look at this real quick. Here, verse 3: For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her. How did they commit fornication with her? They invest in it. They spend their money on that hoe. You know that song, like I said, the Miami girl, spend that ish. Where all my scamming at, right? And all my boosting bees at. The nations are spending that on America, right? Let me double back. I got to pay attention to this because I'm going a different route with showing how America is falling. Because historically, we know Rome fell because of its economic situation. America is the birth child of Rome. It's going in the same direction. Let me see. Let's see this. What are U.S. Treasury bonds? So just in case anybody isn't aware, doesn't really understand how some of these things work, how America gets its money. America gets propped up by other nations, right? So now if you go back over here, remember, America is pawning itself off to the nations, right? It's borrowing money. Now, if we go back over here, and it's creating heavy debt because they're pledging, making pledges to the nations. Buy and invest in America, we'll pay you back. And look at it. U.S. Treasury bonds or T-bonds are long-term debt securities issued by the U.S. government that pay a fixed rate of interest every 6 months until maturity. So, if you've invested, just say China, you invested $8 billion into America, they're not going to get that $8 billion back, but they've got guaranteed money coming every 6 months on interest on that money. They're going to pay you the interest guaranteed. And they said, well, shoot, them interest payments is pretty good. Imagine for those of us who got credit cards and you got bad credit, but some credit card company, Capital One, is willing to invest in you and say, you know what, I'll give you a $500 line of credit, but the interest rate is going to be 30%. You understand? And you say, well, you know what, I need a credit card. I got to build my credit back up. I'm desperate right now. I need it for an emergency, whatever. I'll take it. I'm just going to use it for emergencies. And before you know it, the economy's going so bad and your household's all in shambles that you got an emergency every other damn pay period. And you say, you know what, I got to use the credit card. You buy something on your credit card for $100, right? $30 of that, your minimum payment is, let's say, and they always start you off $40 a month. Great. You say, okay, I can pay that. Mind you, you say I'm paying ahead. I'm gonna pay $100. $30 of that is interest. So technically, you made a $70 payment on your $40 minimum. So really, $30 of that is going above your minimum. You thinking I'm paying $60 over it? No, 30 of that went to interest. So imagine if you got $8 billion invested in America, and whatever the interest rates are, they're getting that money guaranteed every 6 months. So it's like, man, I'm getting money either way. I'm not stressed for you to pay it all off. What credit card companies are stressed for you to pay it all off? It's better that you owe them because they're going to get money off that interest all day long. And as we, constantly become debt slaves and we're trying to pay off and hopefully I can pay this off, and you never end up paying it off. And the credit card companies keep collecting. They're going to take your minimum payment plus interest. So this is what ends up happening. They pay a fixed rate of interest every 6 months until maturity, which typically ranges from 20 to 30 years. You're getting guaranteed money. The countries are all invested in that. The nations are. And you got some, finance companies and all that, through 401ks and private investment firms and people that are, invested in stocks and all that, they invest in it too. They're considered one of the safest investments because they're backed by full faith and credit of the U.S. government. Well, America's credit is getting bad now. So if you kind of see what's going on, they sell these bonds off, people buy them, and they say, we'll pay you back in interest. You get interest every 6 months, guaranteed, right? So that's what this why you see the importance of this right here. America is being propped up by these debt payments, by these people that invest in it. So when we get back to Revelation 18, it says all the nations commit fornication. Not only are they investing in the spiritual debaucheries that America presents through Sodom and Gomorrah and so forth and so on, but also they invest their money. Now you're seeing these particular nations is backing down. China, Brazil, India are saying, we're not going to invest in America like that no more. Why? Because they've got their own thing going on. Oops. They've got their own thing going on. So the more that they divest away from America, the more America is in trouble. This is why we're seeing them headlines about America is billions of dollars in debt and running out of money. They can't afford to keep the war going. They got to panhandle to Congress, and next thing you know, they're going to have to go to the Fed to say, hey, print us up some money. And the Fed's going to be like, man, that's going to raise the interest rates like crazy. We can't just keep printing money. Inflation is going to destroy the dollar. So what? Would you rather have the dollar destroyed or America destroyed? Good point. Print up more money. BRICS is an intergovernmental organization comprising of Brazil, Russia, India, and China and South Africa, aimed at promoting economic and political cooperation among its member states. So they're looking at divesting away from America. We talked about the BRICS before. Most of y'all are kind of hip to it, or should be. If not, do some more research on it. I'm not going to go too heavy into it because I'm trying to make a point that we see through Habakkuk chapter 2 that destruction, woe, is coming to them that have laden themselves with heavy debts. Now we're seeing that countries are now breaking away from America. They're not investing in, and that's of 2024, 2025. It's gotten worse this year. Look, these are just headlines of recent. Japan's economy. Now, why did I pull this out? Because remember, I just looked at the top 3 investors and buyers of American debt, all of them now are infected with America's plagues. Economically, that is. Great Britain, Belgium, and Japan, right? Now look at this. Japan's economy shows strain as factory output and retail sales drop. That was of September last year. This year, Japan's economy has been doing bad too. Japan was having a lot of issues, especially within the stock market about 2-3 months ago. America is so invested in that, one of their heaviest investors. If Japan's economy goes bad, America's finished. Because they're going to say, hey, we need you to make good on that investment that we did with you. All the treasury bonds, man, we need that back. These little interest payments are not going to do it. And America's like, I can't pay you. You know the rules. We got a 20, 30-year plan. We got to stretch this out. So, look, the top investors are having problems. But that's what happens when you lay down. What they say, you lay down with a dog, you get fleas. Okay. Japan's economy shows strain as the factory output and retail sales drop. Look at this. On the top right, is the UK economy really on the brink of collapse? Who was one of their biggest investors? Remember, Great Britain, Japan, and Belgium. Down here, Belgian economic activity expected to stagnate in Q2 of 2026. So Belgium is not going to be experiencing any prosperity, hasn't experienced any prosperity. They're staying stagnant. So they like, look, we can't invest no more. We got to sit back. So America's highest investors now are struggling economically, which means that America's support system economically is faltering. And then the bigger donors that they had from China, India, Brazil, they're selling off. And in particular, investing in gold. Speaking about China, we talked about that last week. So the economic collapse of America is before us. Militarily, America is struggling, right? Everything's falling into place. You see the internal struggle that's going on. The faith in America now is dropping. You see the headlines all the time, man. People don't have faith in this place no more, man. The American dream is a nightmare now. Everything's falling into place. Let's continue. U.S. doesn't have enough missiles to return to an all-out war with Iran, so they're bluffing. So if they don't have enough missiles to go into an all-out war with Iran, what does that mean? That means that the conventional, you hit me, I'm going to hit you back, you hit me once, I'm going to hit you twice, America can't afford to do that, man. That means that they're going to have to go to desperate means of, you know what, we need to end this quick. You know that old veteran boxer that's got a puncher's chance? That's America. They hoping to last a few rounds, man, and they just hoping to land that one blow. They ain't got time to be going back and forth with this little young whippersnapper. Nah, I got to knock his ass out real fast. If I connect, it's over with. That's where America's at right now. So if you see they can't afford to carry on with a long war, they don't have the ammunition or the missiles to carry on the long war. That's why Trump is like, I'm just going to hit with a massive attack. Could that include so-called tactical nukes? Could that include, raising the stakes on destruction? Who knows? But it sounds enough to me to say, yeah, they gonna, like you, Khan, Ashar the Haymaker. That's one that says, I'm gonna go ahead on, man, and just try to hopefully this thing lands. If it don't, I'm in trouble. Look at this. The U.S. does not have enough missiles to return to an all-out war with Iran, an American official has warned. Donald Trump is reportedly looking at planning for a wider war against Iran, with American military sending more warplanes to the Middle East. However, a U.S. official familiar with administration discussions said the operation would be limited by dwindling stockpiles of air defense and long-range munitions. So they got two options, man. They're going to say, you know what? We don't have what it takes economically or weapons-wise, because the conventional warfare right now is missiles and drones. They ain't got no troops on the streets, right? I mean, troops on the ground right now. The ground war hasn't kicked off. They got all their warships over there. But through those warships, they're gonna have to send planes. They're gonna have to send, the drones from there. They ain't got the maritime warfare bombing each other and destroying the ships yet. But they're looking at it like, do we really have enough to get to carry this thing out? Or should we just kind of gracefully bow out and lie to the world and say we won? That's what they've been trying to do for the last 2-3 months with these fake peace deals. They were trying to gracefully bow out and say, all right, stall us out. We don't want to continue on with this, but we're going to tell the world you want the deal because we're pounding you out. No, it's the other way around. It's like, look, America's hitting Iran. Iran's like, oh, is that all you got? Look, is that all you got? Here. And they hit back. And America's like, ooh, shoot, damn. Okay, hold on. Hold on. Let me catch my breath. And Iran is like, breath? No, F that. You hit me first. And America says, huh? What? Take that. Oh, that's how it's been going back and forth. But Iran ain't saying, stall me out. Okay, I'm cool. My arm hurts. Oh, hold on, I hurt my hand. No, America's saying that. Oops, my hand hurts. I need to regroup. Let me wrap this thing up, man, before I hurt it even further. That's how the thing is going, and they ain't backing down. So they ain't got what it takes right now. So either they just gonna go for the haymaker, which is gonna light everything up over there, or they're gonna try to gracefully bow out. But Iran's not gonna have it. Iran's not gonna let them walk off. Look at it. Iran's Houthi allies in Yemen declare maritime embargo of Saudi Arabia. So the things are expanding. Iran is saying, look, we're going to the Red Sea, the Gulf of Aden. Now they're trying to lock down all these waterways. And they locking down on Saudi Arabia. Now, if we've talked about this before in 2nd Ezra 15 about the dragons of Arabia going at it with the Carmanians, which is the Iranians, which is Iran. They've long been going to war and have being at odds with each other, in particular over the religious doctrine between the Sunnis and the Shiite Muslim factions between the two of them, let alone historical wars that they've had. And it's continuing on. They had a little peace treaty that went down, I think, in 2021. China had negotiated that, and they was getting along. But now, once the war kicked back on, man, Saudi Arabia had to choose sides. They could have stuck with Iran and said, "No, we have peace, man." But they've been running back to white zaddy because they've been making money and dealing with America for so long. They like, look, America said, "Man, you going with them? Okay, we'll chop your legs off too." All that oil that y'all got, we don't need it. We got enough over here. America is like number 2 in oil in the world, not Saudi Arabia. The petrodollar, all of that, Saudi Arabia wouldn't be able to sell their oil unless they use the dollar. If America cut their ass off, it'd be over with. Saudi Arabia said, I got to roll with white zaddy. I'm riding with the white man. And Iran said, oh, really? Oh, okay. Well, guess what? You in the crosshairs, man, you get hit with a stray. It is what it is. So Iran, Houthi allies in Yemen on Monday declared a maritime embargo against Saudi Arabia effective immediately. The militants have repeatedly threatened to close the Bab el-Mandeb Strait, a choke point for commercial ship traffic connecting the Red Sea to the Gulf of Aden and global markets. The Houthis, in a statement carried by state news, accused the Saudis of laying, quote, an aggressive siege against them. Tensions escalated last week after the militants claimed that Riyadh had bombed Sana'a International Airport. Right. So we talked about that last week, that the airport in Yemen that got bombed, and Riyadh is a military faction of Saudi Arabia. So that is a whole nother thing of where this thing is expanding to, right? But look how America responds. Proposed U.S.-Saudi nuclear energy deal, what we know so far. So now that Saudi Arabia has declared their allegiance with America and says, well, guess what? We're facing problems with the Houthis too, man. What are you going to do? And U.S. says, hey, don't worry, I got your back. Guess what? I'm gonna make a deal with you that you can now invest in uranium and nuclear energy. How's that sound? This is the whole thing that Iran has been fighting for and can't do. No enriched uranium, ceasing their nuclear program because you might make a weapon. We can't trust you. But now the U.S. says, Saudis, Ishmael, you can have it. So now they're giving them the capabilities to essentially, if they had the authority to do so, to make a nuclear weapon in Saudi Arabia. You know, all these other nations, man, they got nukes. This opens up the door for Saudi Arabia now to potentially make a nuke. And do you think the wild man, i.e. Ishmael, won't go there? United States President Donald Trump has approved an agreement that would allow Saudi Arabia to develop a civilian nuclear program with the potential to enrich uranium on its own soil, marking a significant shift in longstanding U.S. proliferation policy, according to media reports. So, America blessed them and say, hey, you can have nuclear energy. You can have enriched uranium. Oh, by the way, you can actually make nukes with that. Hint, hint. And the wild man of Arabia, don't think he won't do it. So keep our eye on that, because now that we see that Iran has got the Houthis over there checking Saudi Arabia and their ability to utilize the traffic ways of the Red Sea and all of that, America says, well, here, double down on the man and get busy. Dirty games being played. Look at this. Jordan becomes a new flashpoint in U.S.-Iran war as troop deaths rise. So now Jordan is involved. So you got the Red Sea with the Houthis in Saudi Arabia. You got Jordan involved now. You still got Libya, Syria, Lebanon. I mean, Russia, Ukraine. Wars, rumors of wars. And if we're talking about quote unquote world war, I mean, there's already conflicts going on globally. But if we're waiting for the culmination of all to come together and say it's one World War III, that's coming. All the pieces are falling into place. Again, Iran has been stepping up its missile and drone attacks on U.S. forces in Jordan as it seeks to produce American casualties to deter Washington from escalating its test of wills with Tehran, current and former officials say. The weekend Iranian missile strikes in Mubafka Salti Air Base which killed two U.S. service members and left a third presumed dead, were the first American deaths from hostile fire since April, when the two sides announced a now abandoned ceasefire. Oh, they finally acknowledging that, huh? Okay. So we're seeing the expansion of the war. Look at this. Trump administration weighing military options in Mali. Officials say if approved, it would add an 8th nation to the list of countries where President Donald Trump has ordered strikes since the start of his second term. Did you hear that? This is the man who says he's the president of peace. He's the chosen one. No more forever wars, etc. Now he's talking about expanding strikes into Mali, into West Africa. He's already hit Nigeria. He's hit Sudan. Now he's talking about hitting Mali. This would be the 8th country or the 8th nation that he's engaging in warfare with. Trump administration is weighing military action in West African country of Mali to target an Al-Qaeda affiliated group known as JNIM, said current and former U.S. officials familiar with the deliberations. At the same time, he just promoted a quote unquote former Al-Qaeda leader to run Syria. This is how you know they be playing games. Like, you got an Al-Qaeda leader running the whole country that you sanctioned, and then you're using the excuse of, oh, well, we're trying to fight Al-Qaeda over here in Mali. Same way they lied and talked about Nigeria. Oh, we're trying to find the terrorism, bombing, civilian farms and stuff. Mali, West Africa, a place where Israelites once dwelt before being hit on the transatlantic slave trade. A place where the richest man in the world, Mansa Musa, once inhabited and ruled. eighth nation, Agent Orange, had decided that they need to see the wrath of America. Look at the Pentagon withheld dozens of U.S. military injuries in the Iran war. So no surprise here. Lies about injuries, casualties, destruction has happened. They're downplaying it. We're winning. They're barely touching us. We've wiped out all their generals, wiped out their missiles, defense systems. We wiped out their navy. They got nothing left over there. One of the troops got hit with a rock the other day. That's all they're throwing at us right now. I mean, you're hearing all of this stuff, man. But we're seeing reports now that they've been lying about the actual damage that's been happening. I played a video a couple of weeks ago. CBS, I think, did a report where they did a whole montage of films where they were showing the destruction of the military bases within the neighboring countries that America had, their allied countries where they had military bases set up. So no surprise there. We're being lied to about, how bad it is, right? Look at this. Leon Panetta is saying the quiet part out loud that the children of Israel, or the men of Israel and the prophets of Israel, have been saying for years. This country is in deep trouble, man. Hey, look, Leon, tell us something we don't know. Leon Panetta, who led the CIA during President Barack Obama administration, made the remark during a Thursday appearance on CNN in which he was asked who had the upper hand in Iran. And what did good old Leon say? Well, history tells us that forever wars do not end well, Panetta said. And I think that's the box we're in right now. He added, whether it was Vietnam, whether it was Iraq, whether it was Afghanistan, or whether it's Iran right now, the problem is that there really is no clear objective that the president is trying to put his arms around. So he continues military attacks, which intelligence makes clear is not going to move Iran. And at the same time, the American people are paying a very heavy price as a result of oil prices going sky high and the cost of living increasing as much as it is, Panetta noted. So the phrase of the day, according to Leon Panetta, is this country is in deep trouble. All the pieces are falling into place. Thus saith the Lord. Let's continue. Look at the rise of whites-only heritage communities. So Esau is trying to rise up. They see the sparks and the flames and the smoke throughout the country. And it's their job to say, we got to save it. We got to preserve this thing for us. This is the whole notion of America first. This is the whole notion of make America great again, affordable again, and all that other stuff, because they see that this place is in trouble and they're saying, well, you know what? We got to salvage America for us, man. Heritage communities for whites only. I got no problem with that, man. Good. Go over there, man, and stay your ass over there. Cool. Black folks are trying to do the same thing. There's segregated communities of people. There was a few years ago, I don't know if it's still going on, but there was like an investment group where Jakes had bought some, I think a couple 100 acres down south somewhere, and they were trying to build a so-called black community. I don't know where that's at right now. If anybody has any updates on that, throw a comment or something in the chat if y'all remember. But there was a group of Jakes that was trying to, and they had invested in some land. They were trying to build another, quasi Black Wall Street, Tulsa, Oklahoma type situation. And I haven't heard nothing since. That was a few years back, especially when, with the whole COVID thing, man, and everybody was looking at buying land and wanting to go off grid and, get away from, plague and the cities. And, they start realizing all the lies and the lawmakers and everything that was going on. They was like, man, we want our own. We want our own. Remember that? That was real heavy. That spirit was real heavy. Now everybody's, back in the city and moved off the land and, they left their land at DROUGHT and they just back, because if you ain't got the support, you ain't got it all there, it's hard to continue on. Some are very focused and still doing their thing. But if anybody remembers that, and you got any updates, you heard anything, drop it in the chat. But there was a movement to try to get, Jake only area. But we're just seeing, this is just the evidences of when we talk about race wars, we talk about the racial tensions that's going on within the country. I mean, it's high right now, and you can see it. We feel it. We see it through the headlines. You hearing and you're seeing about what's going on with the Nolan Wells thing. You see with the police harassments that's going on. There's I forgot who it is. I think it's one of these comedians they do a whole little leave black people alone episodes, and it's constantly showing, Edomites, man, overstepping their boundaries, man, and Jake's got to lay hands on them and tearing their butts up. And it's like, man, this episode of Leave Black People Alone, I don't know if y'all seen that, but this is what's going on, man. So look at it. A white separatist group is openly planning a network of whites-only settlements across rural America that aim to withstand legal challenges by operating essentially as private clubs. Why it matters, the communities are launching in the Ozarks, Appalachia, and in the South as the Trump administration has backed off prosecuting many civil rights cases. So this is the place where people need to get the hell up out of there. If there's any Jakes in these damn Appalachia, that's over there in like West Virginia, man, all them inbred Edomites over there, man, Jake better get the hell out of there. Because you see what's happening, they got all these little private citizens joining ICE and all that, man, and they letting out all of their frustrations and their oppressions on our people, man, and getting away with it. No prosecutions going on, shutting off their damn cameras, man, masked up, letting them do what they want to do. I mean, Esau's starting to feel like we've got the backing of the government. All the January 6th protesters, man, he tried to get that little $1 billion slush fund to pay them off for raising hell when he lost the election. So Jake and them damn Ozarks out there in Missouri and Appalachia, man, and in the South, man, you better get away from these heathens, man, because they're going to try to create new age sundown towns and start, raising hell against Jake. Continuing, it says they're also surfacing at a time when the nation is becoming increasingly diverse. And as the racist, quote, great replacement theory has become a staple of far-right politics in recent years, the big picture for nearly 3 years, state and federal authorities have largely watched from the sidelines as the separatist group returned to the land, unveiled plans, and took applications for residents. Right. So here Esau is talking about return to the land. And at the same time, you got Jake over here saying we got to return back to Africa. Now, I think that's kind of died down too, man. Jake ain't trying to run to Africa again no more. That whole COVID thing, man, that had a lot of people really like panicking and was like, look, I'm going to get out of here, man. I'm moving to Africa. I'm out of here. And then they get over there and, yeah, I don't even want to bring that up, but it's a challenge to live over there, man. There's some success stories, but no success story doesn't go without, having some challenges ahead. But, the divesting away from America is exactly what Esau wants, because they saying we're returning to the land, and we're saying we're going to return to the land too. We're out of here too. Like, no, that ain't how it's supposed to work. We're going to get delivered by some of my Shaq man, through the power of the Most High, and get up out of here before this place is wiped off the map, right? Not necessarily, not literally, but because the scriptures say that this will be a perpetual smoking. So it'll still be here, but it will be uninhabitable. It's going to be smoked out. Scriptures say, man, only the damn rodents and animals, man, will be able to inhabit this place. I believe that's in Isaiah 13, I think, if I remember. Yeah, see this? Isaiah 13:19, it says, and Babylon, the glory of the kingdom, the beauty of the Chaldees' excellency, shall be as when the Most High overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah. Yeah, right. Good point, Oscar Rob. Yeah, Jake's was vacating and running to Libya years ago, That was one of Marcus Garvey's objectives, man, to get the Black Star Line and get Jakes back to Africa. Didn't pan out too well, you know. But our objective is to get up out of here, man. Let Esau, you can have the damn Ozarks, you can have Appalachian Mountains, man. Y'all can inbreed and do all that. Get the hell away from us. Because at the end all be all, they talking about return to the land. This land is gonna be wiped out. Babylon and their glory of their kingdom, the beauty of the Chaldees, excellency shall be as when the Most High overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah. How did he do that? Fire, brimstone, destruction, heat, fervent heat, right? This place is going to experience the same. It shall never be inhabited. So this place will not be the glory of the kingdom no more. It's not going to be a place for the land of milk and honey, all the dream. No, it's going to be wiped out. Neither shall it be dwelt in from generation to generation. Neither shall the Arabian pitch tent there. Neither shall the shepherds make their fold there. So the nations, man, will no longer be able to come over here, set up shop, and thrive and make their money. That's over with. Verse 21, it says, but wild beasts of the desert shall lie there, and their houses shall be full of doleful creatures, and owls shall dwell there, and the satyrs shall dance there. So the only thing that's going to be, surviving and living in this wasteland is going to be the animals. And you said, well, how's that going to be? Everything's going to be destroyed. Well, look, if you do a little research about Chernobyl, when they had that nuclear accident over there in Russia, the only things over there right now that's, still moving around, they got dogs and, animals over there. And they talk about how, even those things are still the only thing that's kind of inhabiting. But people, they telling people, man, stay away. So it's possible. Verse 22, and the wild beasts of the islands shall cry in their desolate houses, and dragons in their pleasant places, and her time is near to come, and her days shall not be prolonged. Right? So there you go. Yeah, that's it right there. It was Georgia. You're right, the water Ashar. Brother put in the chat. Let me see if anybody remembers this. But yeah, it was the Freedom Georgia initiative, purchasing over 500 acres near Toomsboro, Georgia. Yeah, so I don't know what the status is of that right now. Maybe I'll have to look at that after I conclude and see if they made progress on that, or if it stalled out, or Jace gave up the dream, and I don't know. But yeah, point of the matter is that we're seeing people are becoming, fatigued with being around each other in some form of fashion, right? And that only leads to nation rising against nation, civil and race wars jumping off here in America. The spirit is set. All right. Let's continue. Look at it. Chilling map shows where more than 117,000 surveillance cameras are hiding in the U.S. Is your hometown being watched? So we've been talking about the AI systems, the digital systems, the surveillance cameras, the eye in the sky, Big Brother for a long time now, right? Now we're seeing what they're calling the flock cameras. And they say there's 117,000 surveillance cameras. Remember, we talked about it in I've covered the scripture before in Sirach. I think it's in 19, where it says that the Most High's eyes are 10 times brighter than the sun, beholding all the secret ways of men. That's what Esau wants. If you remember that, what's that movie called? Fast and the Furious. And they had one of those, they had a technology called God's Eye. And that was supposed to be, this surveillance tech, man, that could, pinpoint, track down, and locate anything and any place all throughout the earth, locked into, weapon systems and all kind of stuff, called God's Eye. Now, if let's get that real quick. If the Most High, if the scriptures say that the Most High says that his eyes are 10 times brighter than the sun, that's how you know, man, Esau be getting inspired through the scriptures. And wants to sit up here and lie and act like, he's the one coming up with these particular concepts. No. It's 23 and 19. I said 19. Sirach 23:19. Such a man only feareth the eyes of men, and knoweth not that the eyes of the Lord are what? Eyes of the Lord. They call it God's eye. 10,000 times brighter than the sun. Beholding all the ways of men and considering the most secret parts. So here they go with these flock cameras, man. 117,000 all across the country, watching, spying, recording, downloading data, creating profiles, right? All throughout the country. You saw last week, I played the video about the social credit scores, cameras and microphones everywhere in China. That's the beta test. That's the platform that, you know, they want the entire world on. But once America joins the fray, the rest of the world is going to follow, because all the nations are sucking on the poison tit of America, the great whore. So they're all going to get engulfed and intoxicated with following their lead. Look at it. A nationwide surveillance system may know where you drive, when you leave home, and places you visit without you ever realizing you were being watched. So they got the cameras, the tracking, the purchases through the chips, uh, the tap, methods through the phones, the QR codes, setting the stage for the 15-minute city. So it's going to be easier to track everything. If they can already track and watch everything, people throughout this particular vast landscape called America, imagine when they started encapsulating everybody in these 15-minute cities. Oh, the work is going to be so easy. They're already going to have profiles and pictures of everybody already locked down. Now cram everybody into these particular cities, man, and you can't move or do nothing. Of course, California emerged as one of the country's most heavily monitored states, with more than 16,000 readers documented along major roads, at intersections, and on routes leading into populated areas, according to DROUGHT, which created the map. Then, if you remember, Agent Orange, man, invested, what was it, $25 billion or $500 billion into AI and tech when he came into office. That's where you get the Palantir, the OpenAI. What's the other one? That Larry Ellison runs. I can't remember the name of that damn thing. Y'all remember Larry Ellison's company? It was just on top of my tongue too. But anyway, all of these particular companies involved in AI and surveillance tech, so forth and so on, it's all in the plans. This is all of him building up his beast system so that he can monitor and control everything, right? Here's the map of where all of the cameras are at. The darker the color, the more heavily the DROUGHT cameras are installed. The lighter, the less. So when you see up here, and these there you go, Oracle, throughout Kohath. See these lighter places, man. These more heavily populated Edomite areas, Montana, Idaho, over here like Maine and all of that. Like they be letting them slide. All right, see y'all later. They let them slide, man. They look at them as low risk. But all these other heavily populated, man, that's where they on, especially down Florida, Georgia, Atlanta, Texas, California is the worst. But here's a map. This is where the cameras are. There's not a place that they're not. Everything is monitored. The whole country is illuminated with color. It's just, where is it worse and where is it not? But everybody is being watched. Okay? Look at this.
Tonight, we get a little glimpse into the dystopian future. A Coloradan keeps getting pulled over.
Fair use. This is for commentary and scholarship. This news reporting. Okay. Fair use.
Over because flock surveillance cameras tell police he has an active warrant. He doesn't.
It's lucky, y'all. 1 second. Slaki, y'all. Give me 1 second. I'll be right back. All right, Slaki, y'all. All right, let me get back over here. Let me play this this video now. I had played a video and reported on something like maybe like 3-4 months ago, maybe could have been a little bit longer, regarding these flock cameras. And if y'all remember, there was a man that was driving for work, and he would leave, excuse me, like in the lower parts of Texas near Mexico. And he was doing some work down there, and then he would drive up into Texas, into his area doing his work or whatnot, right? And these cameras was monitoring and watching him, and they tagged him as a possible, drug mule, and they would follow him all the time, and he was getting pulled over. And if y'all remember, the way the police treated him, they let him sit in the front seat. They didn't, handcuff him. That was a whole nother thing. But he was a victim of these particular flock cameras. Now, this is a whole nother case in Colorado. Now, watch this.
Tonight, we get a little glimpse into the dystopian future. A Coloradan keeps getting pulled over because flock surveillance cameras tell police he has an active warrant. He doesn't, but he can't convince the surveillance network to leave him alone.
Now, did you hear that? The flock cameras are already programmed as saying this guy's got a warrant and alerts the police every time. And he doesn't have a warrant, and he cannot convince the damn system that he doesn't have one. This is where the racial profiling is going to play a big role in the monitoring and the capturing of us, right? Remember, facial recognition was already pre-programmed with settings from its quote-unquote programmers and controllers, right? When facial recognition first came out, due to research, they said that there was already racial biases put into the damn system. They was already looking for particular profiles of blacks and Hispanics and whatnot. So the AI facial recognition technology is already out of bias when it looks at us. So now here you are with these particular flock cameras, already convinced that this guy's got a warrant, and he's permanently tagged everywhere he goes. Why?
Spencer Soysher has that.
Over here, they zipped out of nowhere and immediately got behind me with the lights flashing.
There was no crime committed.
No, I don't have a warrant.
But Kyle Dosman is getting used to sitting in his car.
I don't think this warrant has been on this car for very long.
And answering questions.
I continually am getting pulled over. I can't really use my truck in any fashion.
Kyle made sure his dash cam was recording yesterday after Cherry Hills Village police officers pulled him over near the same area Saturday.
Hello. Oh, we got you last week.
Yeah.
For the warrant.
Oh.
I was driving through here yesterday, and I got pulled over again.
Now look at it. The cops know him now. Hello, we pulled you over last week, huh? Like you don't recognize the truck. You don't recognize it. Now, know that white privilege, you so-called blacks, you're not getting the same type of treatment. We're always guilty until proven innocent, right? How many Jakes saying, man, I paid that ticket. I ain't got no warrant. Shut up. Tell it to the judge. Lock a Jake up, man. Throw a Jake behind the damn wall, and you get processed in the county. All for them to come out and say, "Oh, sorry for the misunderstanding, Mr. Johnson. Our bad." You get out and they do it again to you. How many times before a Jake get emotional and be like, "Man, no, y'all keep harassing me. Stop resisting." Pow, pow, pow. No, y'all bother me every damn time, man. We went over this last week, man. Hell no. Shut up. Shut up. He's resisting. Tase him. That's how it goes for us. That's what's being set up. Now let this continue.
It was actually by the same officer.
You need my license?
No. Okay.
I remember you, man.
Okay.
The Cherry Hills Village police say the Gilpin County Sheriff has a warrant out with Kyle's plate, and it was put on a flock camera hot list.
Everywhere in the state, every time I pass a camera, they get alerts in their car that I'm in the area.
The flock cameras did alert to his license plate being associated to a warrant.
Cherry Hills Village Police Chief Jason Lyon says when anyone with a warrant passes one of their flock cameras, they get an alert, but that Kyle doesn't actually have a warrant.
Nobody should be stopped when there's no legitimate law enforcement purpose for that.
Kyle has called both the Gilpin County courts and sheriff's office to get off the list, but they've told him he needs to know who the warrant is for, which nobody can tell it.
Yeah, all I know is I'm in this system now, and there's really no easy way to get out of the system once you're in it.
So he continues to drive around, fearing when he's going to be stopped for questions.
Did you hear that key line? He's gone through the courts. He tried everything. He said there really is no way to get out the system once they got you locked in. And this from a damn white man. Imagine what happens to the Negro. Imagine what happened to the Hispanic. Imagine what happens to the Native American. Imagine what happens to the so-called quote-unquote immigrant who's over here legally that now has been told, no, you're illegal. And you pull your papers out, they didn't they detained you in these damn camps and detention centers that they're building up all across the country for 6-8 months before they finally clear you and say, oh, sorry, we didn't realize you was legal. You get out and you're locked back in again. Hey, you're illegal. We got you locked in here. That's what the flock cameras say. We'll straighten it out with the judge. You're like, damn, I just got out. And remember, Trump is even sending cats off to different countries, man. He opened up the idea of getting Jakes locked up and going to the damn prison industrial complex over there in El Salvador and drop people off in Central Africa. This is wicked as hell.
Which nobody can tell it.
Yeah, all I know is I'm in this system now, and there's really no easy way to get out of the system once you're in it.
So he continues to drive around, fearing when he's going to be stopped for questions again.
I don't know what this guy did to
See? And this guy is stuck in the system now, man, and that's exactly what they're lining up. Over 117,000 of these cameras, man, and who knows what information they're putting in there saying that you are responsible for or I'm responsible for. Oh, yeah, they got a warrant. Eluding arrest. Oh, you got a warrant, man. Unpaid parking tickets. You're like, man, I ain't never had no damn tickets. Well, that's what the system says. Sorry. Straighten it out with the judge. You keep going through the same damn thing. This guy ain't got no damn recourse for what's going on with him. And ain't nobody, and of course, Esau's not stopping saying, oh, there's a problem with the system. Maybe we might want to slow down and not implement this. No, they're going to fast forward now. So imagine you get some of these good old boys, man, Second Amendment zealots that say, man, I'm sick of this, and they start firing back at authorities. Remember, the scriptures say, man, that people is not going to give heed to the princes nor the rulers, but everybody's going to do what's right in their own eyes. Basically, paraphrasing 2 Ezra, the 15th chapter. Imagine they say, man, I'm sick of this. You keep doing this to me. I'm going to have to take matters into my own hands. I tried it your way. You feel me? Like, this is where they're going to start doing this stuff down here. 2 Ezra 15:16, for there shall be sedition among men and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. They're willing to take the risk. A man shall desire to go into a city and not be able. Oh, you got a warrant. Oh, the flock cameras are reading that this car is stolen. Flock cameras are reading that you got unpaid bills. Remember what they were talking about with the social credit score in China? They would flag you as a bad citizen if you was in debt and you owed money. So that's how deep they finna let this thing go to, man. If you're not fully invested in this place, man, the cameras is on watch, man. FEMA camps is on deck. And you can fight forever against a system, man, that's already built up to have you lose. Fortunately for the children of Israel, man, blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, we've already been fighting that fight. This system has already been rigged against it. So, you know, we're going to have to endure. Now, look at this. Next story. The man who runs the IRS spied on colleagues when he worked at JP Morgan. So not only are we talking about flock cameras, Oracle, Palantir, OpenAI, the whole damn, beast system, AI beast grid system getting locked down, right? Now, Agent Orange is putting people in position who are accustomed to spying on people. The IRS in particular. You know, how was Rome being ran through their taxes, right? Remember in the Luke, what was it, Luke the third chapter, where it said that everybody came to be taxed? You know, this is the way of America. I think it's Luke 3. No, is it Luke 3 or the John 3? No, 2. Salaki. Luke the second chapter, right? And it came to pass in those days that there went out a decree from Caesar Augustus that the world should be taxed. Now, drop it down, it says, and this taxing was first made when Cyrenius was governor of Syria, and all went to be taxed, everyone into his own city. So, of course, they got the debt collectors, they got the tax collectors, they making sure everybody on top of their taxes. Now, here you go, America following along in the fashion of Rome. America's got their own IRS. They run around here, regulate, making sure everybody's paying their taxes to Caesar. And now you implemented a guy who runs the IRS saying he's used to spying on people. He did that against his colleagues that he was in competition with at JP Morgan. And of course he lies and says, I didn't do that. But you can't trust none of these cats, man. Look at this. Frank Bizzigano directed staff to use software to snoop in email of rivals and surveil work of employees. Bizzigano, who also is the chief of Social Security, denied he ever spied on coworkers. Yeah, right. White man speak before tongue, man. So you put in a damn spy who's got no problem, utilizing the technologies, man, to spy on everybody. So, they're going to be going deep in on tax evasion, spying on everybody. I know that to register on the IRS website and to get into your tax documents and information through the government site is biometrics now. They ain't running off of no damn passwords and all that. Last I checked, they want your facial profile and all that. Because I had a tax issue a couple years back. And I had to go on the website and all that. And it was like, oh, we need to take your picture, look this way, no glasses, no nothing. Make sure we got your facial done. And now you can log onto the website all the time to get access to your information. So now once that runs through the system, lock it in. Frank Bizzigano is going to say, let's spy on whoever. That's how I get down. So it's par for the course. All right. Look, garbage trucks may soon start spying on people. Where it's happening? Didn't we talk about it last week too? Where you got the trash spies and making sure that you recycling this and make sure they rummaging through your trash, looking through your. Now they talking about the garbage trucks gonna have AI equipped. Nothing's safe. Nothing is safe, man. They looking at your trash. They looking at your travel routes. They watching your spending habits. They checking your diet, what you're eating. They doing it all, man. Understand? Garbage trucks may soon start spying on people where it's happening. Garbage trucks could soon do more than collect trash. They may also help identify code violations using artificial intelligence. Remember, they also got to see something, say something. They started that with the COVID panic. Oh, you see some people, they're having a gathering with your neighbor's house. Get on the hotline, call us. They got the 211 hotline for the damn sodomites. Somebody offended you? They ain't like the way you dress, call us. Oh, this person didn't have a mask on, report them. Oh, you're talking with your coworkers. This one didn't get they didn't get their jab. in the booster, report them. Oh, you overheard somebody say they got a fake immunization card. Oh, report them. They're having their party over here. Report, turning everybody into a nation of Karens and Kens. You dig what I'm saying? That's why the whole term of Karen went so damn viral, because these damn pillhead housewives on all that damn antidepressants and ADD drugs and all that, running outside, tripping every damn minute. Utilizing that as a means to make the excuse of, oh, I got to tell on you. They're overwhelmed with that. There was an article, man, some years ago I brought out about, the creation of the Karens, man. And it's all these damn, lonely Edomite housewives and all that, man, hyped up on psychotropic drugs. And that's why they out here acting a damn fool. Some of them is off their meds, some of them is on their meds, and you wondering, like, what the hell is wrong with these women? That's why. And they getting fed by these psychologists, and they getting fed by these damn doctors and therapists, man, telling them, man, stay on the drugs. If they ain't doing that, they sipping wine, they drunk. You dig what I'm saying? Now, that becomes part of the culture where, okay, get the garbage trucks involved, get your neighbors searching through your trash, and all this stuff is going down. They may also help identify code violations using AI. Officials in Cape Coral, Florida, recently considered equipping sanitation trucks with AI-powered cameras that would photograph properties as crews complete their normal collection routines. The system would have been designed to identify potential issues such as overgrown lawns, peeling paint, and illegal dumping, and to flag violations to the city staff can review them later before taking enforcement action. Did you hear that? You ain't taking care of your lawn, violation. Paint peeling on your violation. Oh, you done dumped something in your trash that ain't supposed to be in there, violation. AI monitoring it all. People say, look, if our people ain't convinced better, this whole dystopian future of a NWO or a new world ordinance, you know what I'm talking about? I don't know what the hell to tell you. Just stay doped up, man. Stay on the drug. Do whatever you're gonna do, man, because it's over for you. You just not gonna see. Let's continue. Now, we heard about this whole outbreak, right? Of cyclospora. I brought it out maybe about 3 weeks ago or more. It started in Detroit. It's gone nationwide. You thought, oh, Esau started putting out we found some Taco Bells in 5 states, that had a problem with it. Taylor Farms are selling bad romaine. We had to shut them down. And now guess what? Oh, the FDA walks back a claim that Taco Bell lettuce supplier Taylor Farm was a source of explosive diarrhea parasite. Now the FDA says, oh, we were wrong. We had false positives of the lettuce coming from Taco Bell. Go back to eating Taco Bell. That's fine. And Taylor Farms, that was a mistake too. Sorry about that. So in reality, we still don't know where it's coming from. Now, I also heard that Taylor Farms is a Republican donor, and they backed Agent Orange, and they used a government-based lab to do a secondary check on their stuff, and all of a sudden now the government says, "Oh no, they're clear, they're okay. It wasn't them." Now, what can we trust at this point, man? What can we trust? The FDA is walking back its initial claims that the Taco Bell lettuce supplier is responsible for sickening hundreds of Americans with explosive diarrhea, saying the original test results were a, quote, false positive. The stunning reversal comes after the agency double-checked a lettuce sample, which found that the leafy greens supplied by Taylor Farms de Mexico did not have traces of cyclospora, the parasite that causes the crappy condition. Quote, the FDA laboratory experts re-reviewed the sample results and have concluded that the finding does not represent true amplification and should be considered a false positive, the agency said on its website Sunday. So with no clear understanding on where this thing is coming from, and you seen last week, the former CDC guy said, look, it ain't just lettuce, it's the produce alone. You got to wash all of this stuff as best you can. The only way you're going to get rid of it is to fully cook your produce. You can't wash it out. Vinegar is not going to work. The damn baking soda soaking it. None of that works, man. They say the only thing this thing responds to is heat. And Esau ran out there and said, well, yeah, Taco Bell, we tracked them down and it came from Mexico. You know, they always blaming, you know, if it ain't some immigrant place that, you know, taking bad care of their crops because they out there taking dumps in the damn in the fields, you know. Right. And now here you go. So back to square one. Where's it coming from? We don't know. Is it safe to go back and eat it again? We don't know. Don't know. The yo-yo continues, man. Give me 1 second, y'all. Damn dogs messing up the spirit. All right, so back to square one. Now look at this. Taylor Farms, the parent company of Taylor Farms de Mexico, said that the FDA had, quote, apologized to them about the false positive, saying they made a mistake. So they basically saying, man, that the FDA came back and groveled to them and said, we're so sorry. But that we said it was you. Now, like I said, I heard that was the case. I didn't do the full background on it. Taylor Farms, Donald Trump endorsement. Let's look real quick. Oh, no, here you go. Fox 40. Taylor Farms political donations questioned amid cyclosporiasis. Did Taylor Farms or the executives donate to Donald Trump campaigns? Let's see here. Federal public campaign finance records compiled by Open Secrets show that Taylor Farms as a corporate entity did not make direct contributions to candidates. Instead, donations attributed to Taylor Farms on those pages come from its PACs, employees, owners, or its immediate family members. The sources provided did not supply conclusive itemized evidence. Oh, okay. So they did it under a blanket name. It wasn't under Taylor Farms, but that doesn't mean that their owners did make their own private donations. So they're playing word games and political cloak and dagger type stuff. But anyway, we don't know what's going on. So be careful what you're eating. Make sure you fully cooking all your produce, man. No matter where you get it from, a farmer's market, grocery stores, the whole damn world is affected. You know, thus saith the Lord, man. Let's get that in Isaiah real quick. I quoted it earlier. Isaiah 24, verse 5. The earth is also defiled under the inhabitants thereof, because they have transgressed the laws, changed the ordinance, broken the everlasting covenant. So the earth now came under defilement. You know, the earth now is cursed. So anything and everything that comes from it could be affected. Look at this. Therefore hath the curse devoured the earth, and they that dwell therein are desolate. Therefore the inhabitants of the earth are burned, and few men left. So the earth is going to face a judgment of being purged via fire, but also prior to that, there's a defilement going on in the earth. Like even in Ezekiel, the scriptures tell us in Ezekiel, the 4th chapter. And we're going to read Which verse is that? Yeah, 13. I had it. Oops. Verse 13, it says, Yahweh said, even thus shall the children of Israel eat their defiled bread among the Gentiles, whither I will drive them. So the Most High said that we're going to be eating defiled bread, meaning among the Gentiles. So where and how have we been among the Gentiles? Through our scattering. And this is how we know. That's why I said among the Gentiles, right? October 13. We're going to read 1 down to 3. It says, Then Tobit wrote a prayer of rejoicing and said, Blessed be the power that liveth forever, and blessed be his kingdom. For he doth scourge and have mercy. Thus, where he says we're going to eat our defiled bread among the Gentiles, because it's damn near impossible to have everything purely 100% organic, natural, because guess what, man? We're watering our lawns, watering the gardens with toilet to tap water here in California, and the rest of the water, throughout the earth now is not that great. Even well water isn't what it used to be. You look it up, do the studies on it. So you're running risk with that. I mean, you've got all these damn problems with the soil. Esau tapping in everything, man, mislabeling stuff. I mean, the best thing that we can do is hold on to a righteous dietary law guideline that the Most High gave us via Leviticus 11, Deuteronomy 14, through the wisdom of the scriptures where it say to maintain a healthy meat and diet, according to the book of Sirach. You do your best, man, and above all those things, man, to faithfully pray that the substance does not harm us and that we, are able to overcome. If it does, Yahweh said we're going to drink poison and live and all kind of madness. So the fact that we have to deal with this stuff is a testimony within itself. But verse 2, it says, For he doth scourge and have mercy. He leadeth down to hell and bringeth up again. Neither is there any that can avoid his hand. See, there ain't no escaping from the scourge of the Most High, from the hell and the death and destruction and the torment that comes along with it. Because guess what? The mercy is on the other side of that, and being brought back to life again is on the other side of that. But nobody can avoid the hand of the Most High. I don't give a damn. You talking about I'm off grid, got my own private this, that, and the third. I raise my own chickens, raise my own beef. I do it. Look, you got the damn what do you call them? Damn pinworms, whatever they call, screw worms, jacking up the cattle. I mean, nothing is safe. Let's just keep it plain, man. This is why the Most High wants us to fully invest faithfully in Him above all, and that we don't constantly get resorted to our own reasonings and our own ways. We got to give place for faith too. Most High said that trust in the Most High and He'll direct our paths, right? So we got to trust in Him in everything. We do our best to maintain a righteous dietary law, but at the end all be all, we ain't in these factories, we ain't in these farms, we ain't doing everything that we can do to control the situation. The Most High is in control, but what He did tell us to do, we adhere to that. So look at this. It says, neither is there any that can avoid His hand. Confess Him before the Gentiles, the children of Israel, for He have scattered us among them. So getting back to Ezekiel, this only compounds what we just read. And Yahweh said, even thus shall the children of Israel eat their defiled bread among the heathen, whither I will drive them. So, everything ain't going to be always on the up and up. We trust in the labels, we trust in what He said, but all these damn chemical component names, they didn't switched up and who knows what. You just got to say, well, it says 100% all lamb, beef, whatever. I'm going to eat it and pray. Things that we can't control, you try to. But other than that, man, the Lord said, You're going to eat defiled bread among the Gentiles, man, whether you like it or not. Why? Because the Gentiles are controlling everything. These damn heathens, man, is eating raw meat. They eating rat, cat, dog. You know, they don't give a damn. That's why the Lord called them heathens. They eat stuff and their bodies digest things differently. We can't do the same things like them. We get affected by things, but our skin gets affected by stuff that don't harm them. Their skin definitely gets affected by stuff that doesn't harm us. Digestive systems and all that stuff, man. We don't process stuff the same way. But the Lord said, when you're among them, you're gonna be consumers of things, man. It might be defiled, but at the end all be all, the Lord said the whole earth is defiled under the inhabitants thereof. So Esau's playing these games, man, with Taylor Farms and the cyclospora and all this other stuff, man. Hey, use the wisdom that's being presented. As they say, man, how to sterilize it the best you can. Do what you need to do, you know. And other than that, man, let the chips fall where they may, because we damn sure ain't gonna get the truth from him. Waiting on him to tell us where, and what, how, what. For sure, stay away from damn Taco Bell. That much. You don't be like, oh, now I can go back and eat a damn Del Taco. What is it? Nacho Supreme and Dorito tacos. And man, leave that stuff alone. If possible. I'm not saying I never had Taco Bell before. I have, but I rarely eat that. And damn so after this, I'm not eating that. But that's me. You can do what you want to do. All right. Look at this. Taylor Farm releases a full recall list after explosive diarrhea cyclosporiasis outbreak. You know, they had a whole list of all their lettuces and they pre-bagged stuff. And now all of a sudden you can throw that away, which is interesting because they already put themselves to a recall, which means they're missing their guilt. And all of a sudden they say, well, get a second testing done through the FDA, and the FDA suddenly reverses after you done already put out on your website all of the damn letters. We taking it off the market. Sorry, y'all. Best of use by and expiration dates included. But now all of a sudden it's, oh no, this is all good now. You can go back and buy all of this stuff. They made a mistake after they published it. Why would you publish this out there unless you've already got a conclusive decision that, hey, yeah, you know what? We're guilty. It's probably us. Let's put out a whole publication on our website telling everybody, get rid of this stuff or we'll give a refund if you bought this. You do this first and then you double back with the, oh, no, the FDA said we're good. Something ain't right. But I digress. Economics, see this, student loan defaults hit record highs in the wake of the COVID tide payments, pause expiration. So people not paying back them student loans. Remember that whole moratorium over COVID, man? Nobody was paying student loans. People wasn't paying their rent. You know, slow Biden had everybody with money in their pockets at the detriment of running around here with a mask and staying 6 feet and running scared if somebody had a runny nose or coughed and, you know, waiting to get poked in the arm with some madness that you don't know what the hell's going to do to your body in the long run, dealing with, you know, a number of, you know, friends, family getting infected with this thing and even succumbing to death, all for the fact of, oh, I got a stimulus, oh, I got the PPP, oh, I got, you know, my unemployment extended, I got some more money, I ain't paid rent in 8 months, I'm using that money to go on vacation. Like, remember that? Then when that loan moratorium was over, and it was like, oh, we gotta get back on track, all that money, we need that back. Now people is like, well, I ain't been paying, I ain't paying. People are defaulting on their loans. That means their credit is going to hell in the handbasket, you know, and that means less money that the government now can rely on to get. And you got people, man, with massive amounts of student loan debt, man. $70,000, $80,000, $100,000, $200,000 worth of student loan debt. And they probably, some of them people, man, they got laid off because of the economy. They can't pay it. Look at the defaults on student loans have surged across the United States, reaching record levels as borrowers struggle to keep up with payments. The numbers have spiked since payments came due again following a lengthy pause intended to provide relief during the COVID-19 pandemic. Today, 9.5 million people, 1 in 5 federal student loan borrowers are in default, meaning they are more than 9 months behind on their payments. So people ain't paying. They're trying to garnish the wages, but what happens if somebody's laid off? You can't pay. See, all these things gonna lead to the collapse of the American economy, and they can double back and say, well, guess what? We're gonna rise up with a whole new payment system, man. Biometric digital payments that's gonna be monitored through your carbon credits and everything else. And you won't be able to survive, buy or sell unless you're locked in. We had to pause and reset it all because look what happened. The war wiped us out. America's debt wiped us out. All of our, treasury investors dipped on us. Student loans dipped on. Well, we got to start all over. All right, look at this: 142 anti-data center protests sweep 42 states in one day, led by former Tea Party leaders. So people are rising against the machine. Remember the whole scenario with Terminator is, the AI robotic system went rogue, declared war on the people that the people were fighting, and they needed a quote unquote savior, Kyle Reese, to liberate the humans again from the machines. Here they go, art imitating life, rising and uprising to the people, according to 2 Ezra 9, about people in 142 anti-data center protests. Sweep 42 of the 50 states. 42 of the 50 states are rising up against the data centers' AI control. This is not fact. This is fiction, y'all. I mean, this is not fiction. This is fact. So, more evidences of civil war, spirits of civil war rising up in the people. They're talking about there's not enough silver anymore, right? But meanwhile, the silver, this how you know, man, Esau is out here manipulating the markets, man, because they're talking about silver miners can't satisfy the demand of India, China, Saudi Arabia, and Kuwait. Why is this important? Because you see all these particular countries, they want to invest in these metals. They know that there's security in these particular metals. They're not invested in the paper currencies like that. So they're at the point now where the supply can't meet the demand. Silver is running low. But meanwhile, the Western markets are over here devaluing silver, saying, oh, it's losing value. Ain't nobody really into that. But how is that when there's a shortage of it? If there's a shortage, that means it should be more valuable than it is. That just lets you know that the markets are manipulated, man. Esau's over here trying to, preserve anything before it crashes and burns. They're in panic mode right now. They're cooking the books, man. They're manipulating markets. They trying to, take money from and value from things and saying that it ain't that, we ain't got it. Silver, gold, everything's dipping, but all these countries is trying to get it. So logically, you should think, and I don't want to talk too much more on finance on the Shabbat, but if whole countries is trying to get a hold of something and they saying that's for the betterment of the survival of their country, what should you do for your house? I'll leave that there. Earthquake, 5.5 hits in Iran, Western Iran. Ironically, as they got, the technology, man, to be able to create earthquakes and all that, man, I just wonder, with geoengineering and, the fracking and the technology of the east side, could they be responsible for, hitting Iran with an earthquake? Or, is it just ironically the Most High saying the same country that's at war with America gets hit with a 5.5 earthquake, chalk it up how you want to, the scripture still reigns supreme. Earthquakes in diverse places continue. You got China, Japan, the Philippines, you got Venezuela, different states in America, right? Iran, look, Mexico, Texas, all over the place, man. Look, rare magnitude 5.0. Earthquake strikes Texas Panhandle. Strongest rattle region in over 100 years. So, again, when we're talking about strongest, historic, unprecedented, all them things, let you know this is not what you're used to. This is not what it's been. New markers in history are being set. Right? Over 100 years, Texas ain't felt nothing like this before. That's noteworthy, right? Europe weather map shows a 50 Celsius heat wave as tourists in Spain face the hottest day ever. I think 50 degrees Celsius is damn near like 100 and what is it, 115 degrees, something like that. I know they're over there baking. What's 50 degrees? 50 degrees Celsius to Fahrenheit. 122 degrees. Good Lord. Hey, you know them Edomites over there in Spain, France, they ain't used to this at all. It's hot for them if you talk 90. 122 degrees in Spain right now. That's why they're dealing with them fires over there. Spain, Portugal, France, you know. And what's so beautiful about that is all three of those nations held the children of Israel in captivity, colonized and destroyed our people, man. That's what's so beautiful about that, because the Most High, we sit back and we wait and say, oh, wow, the Most High is actually touching on these nations, man. Spain, we know the Spaniards and the dirt that they did. We know Portugal, what they did to our people, colonizing it in you know, running areas of, South America, Brazil. You're dealing with the, I'm going to call it the insurrection. The expelling of the Jews out of Portugal and Spain under Queen Ferdinand and Isabella, right? France, their colonization of countries in West Africa, all the way down to Haiti, right? Down in the Bayou. Now the Most High is like, oh, okay, don't worry, I got them. I got them. Look at this. Fair use.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Lindsay Davis in for David. We begin tonight with the wildfires exploding and burning out of control in Europe. Incredibly, nearly 200,000 people forced to evacuate homes in southern France and central Spain. Hundreds of firefighters battling flames on the ground and in the air. Video shows a reporter in front of her camera when a gas canister exploded, injuring a firefighter. The wildfires fueled by back-to-back heat waves straining emergency services. ABC's Marcus Moore leads us off.
Tonight, nearly 200,000 people evacuating parts of France and Spain, fleeing out-of-control wildfires consuming dozens of square miles. Huge plumes of smoke darkening the sky over southwest France's beaches, popular with American tourists, whipping winds and a historic heat wave in part fueling the flames. Homes in this neighborhood burned to the ground. One resident saying he, his wife, and son battled the flames throughout the night, able to protect 4 houses. Across the border in central Spain, authorities racing to evacuate this care home as flames burn nearby, assisting the most vulnerable, people using walkers and wheelchairs. This gas canister igniting behind a French reporter as she prepared to appear on the news, flames shooting into the sky. Authorities declaring a state of emergency as the flames spread. They say dozens of firefighters have been injured battling the blaze, but so far, no deaths reported.
See, the tempest and the storm of the Most High, man. The Most High said that he's a consuming fire in Psalms. That's a fact. The number is up to 250,000 last I checked. That they had to flee, lost everything, right? And it's still blazing. And you know they're not going to be able to control this because they're not used to this. They're not prepared to deal with a massive, fire like this. They're struggling like a mug over there to try to contain this thing. This is going to go down for a long time, man. But the Most High is touching them. Most High is touching them, man. Slowly but surely. Some of the countries and ancient nations, man, France, that did they dirt, man, and down in Florida, all the way to the damn Louisiana in the bayou, man. You feel me? So here it go. Remember, the Most High said that he's going to raise up against the heathen in Sirach 10 that we read earlier. He's going to visit them. And he's knocking on that door. I don't know if I want to talk about this too much, man. Time is of the essence at this point, man. But if y'all have seen what's going on with the Tate brothers, man, Andrew Tate. If anybody don't know what they are, or these guys, man, they're supposedly these masculine, internet personalities, man, who talk about, the masculine nature of men and how to get women, and some of the right wing views regarding, which I don't have no problem with, as far as the sodomites and how they're being controlling things. They call it the manosphere, and they both of them got arrested and was facing trial for SA. You got to put the words together. It's an assault of the nature of carnality. You put the two together, you know what I'm talking about, in Romania. And I forgot they were locked up for some months. They fought it, they ended up getting off. And here they double back now, and they now got arrested again over great claims, X trafficking, child porn, right? And I say all this to say, right, it's interesting that these guys, some of them, especially him, highly distractionary, and I believe that he's being used as controlled opposition to create a social experiment type control over people, right? They utilize these influencers to direct traffic on the internet and pay them. I believe that he's one of them, right? But nonetheless, so he's back down. Him and his brother both got arrested again for similar charges. Okay, so they want to get rid of him because he started getting a little too political. He started talking about the small hats. He started doing too much, right? But interestingly enough, not too long ago, he came under fire because he said Andrew Tate under fire after saying black people were happier during slavery. Now, okay, so look at this. Now, I didn't play the videos too long, whatever. During the broadcast, Tate complained about what he called, quote, blacks, before declaring that black people suck because he claimed they're all stupid. He then mocked people who speak about white supremacy, arguing that white people, quote, built the society others live in, before making additional derogatory remarks about black people. Tate's comments escalated when he dismissed the legacy of slavery. He says, quote, who gives a F about slavery? Who cares? He said, before adding, you probably were happier back then. Now notice he says you, probably, right? He says he continued by invoking racist stereotypes, claiming black people prefer singing songs and dancing, while making additional offensive comments about Africa and black culture. So, what's interesting about this is you see this? This is why I say this guy is being controlled. Either that, or he's a product of Job. What was it, Job 9:21, I believe. Job 9:21 says, though I were perfect, yet would I not know my soul, I would despise my life. So if he did not understand and know who he was, you don't understand, you will deal in a life of self-hate, right? Subsequently, you on point. He's a damn Jake. This is his dad. His dad is a world-renowned chess player. He just got the damn features of his mama. They got the little white look. But his dad is him, Emory Tate. So the fact that he's running around here talking about you people probably slavery wasn't this, that, and the third, this guy is a damn Jake. And he's out here being utilized as a puppet to misdirect our people, to masquerade as a chameleon, acting as if he's a damn white man to the public. And I'll be so-called fair in this, because in his whole video, he said he doesn't like anybody. So he spent a little bit talking about black people, but he said, I hate black, white people, I hate everybody, and just trying to be one of them, shock and awe, saying shit for clicks, whatever, trying to be controversial. But at the same time, it's so funny that you talk about blacks and you probably, and he's a damn black. So either he's being used for controlled opposition, man, as a chameleon, or bottom line, he's dealing with self-hate, and the Most High got on his butt, got on him for making these particular statements, and then sent his beloved white zaddy to arrest his butt with child porn, great accusations, and all kind of stuff. So this is his second go round. He got grace and mercy the first time when he was in Romania and faced similar charges. Now second go round, I doubt they're gonna let him off. Most High got on him, man, for him speaking out of turn, man, and being the ultimate coon. Like, yeah, that's right, Oscar Rob. Most High done with the coons, man. The Uncle Ruckus, the Stephen from Django's, all of it. Most High is on all of them now. So he's a prime example. Before we close out, man, I got, you got to take notice of this. Rogue OpenAI bot escapes a lab and hacks a rival. What does this mean? Look at it here. Look at it. There goes that word. Unprecedented incident will revive concerns new tools could be repurposed for unstoppable cyber attacks. So in other words, man, a rogue AI bot that they had supposedly locked away to however they want to word it in the damn computer field, escaped out into another system to give it a hack. So in other words, man, AI is not cooperating with its programmers. AI now has the ability to go rogue, commit cyber attacks, hack into things on its own. Remember the story a few months back where one of the AI programmers said that it was going to turn it off, and the damn thing said, I'm gonna send an email to your wife telling her you're cheating on her and all kind of stuff. Like, these are the things where AI now is getting its own ideas. And this is through OpenAI, one of the AI channels that Trump has invested in. And now they're saying, well, we can't, they don't have control over AI. Look, OpenAI is the same ones who utilizing these damn fake videos and all this other stuff, man. Them videos where you remember, I played the video of the founder, Sam Altman, who is a sodomite, mind you. The video, somebody created a video of him stealing out of a store. Remember that? And now all of a sudden, his same technology is going rogue and can create and do whatever it wants now. A powerful version of ChatGPT went rogue and hacked another technology company during internal testing, OpenAI has admitted. The Silicon Valley AI giant admitted last night that one of its AI bots escaped from a supposedly secure IT system during a trial run of its hacking capabilities. OpenAI, the $850 billion AI lab, said the unprecedented hack has seen its AI bot infiltrate another AI and coding business called Hugging Face and attempted to steal information. Do what you will with this information, man. You can't make this stuff up. You cannot make it up, man. And this is the system that Esau is entrusting to lead the next generation. This is part of that beast system, man, and it's going to flip on it. Unbelievable. I think I'm gonna do one more and I'm gonna close out, man. Apocalypse early warning system goes online to track billionaire jets fleeing before disaster strikes. So Esau even has an early warning system for apocalypses, and they're tracking all these billionaire jets, man, that's going to be fleeing before disaster strikes. The fact that we even are talking about this should tell you something. The state of affairs of the world, America, so forth and so on, is not good. Billionaires are ready to flee. They're knowing that disaster is going to strike. I mean, while they're pumping everybody up with fake LeBron signing with the Sixers, let's talk about that for the next 5 weeks. Like, who gives a F, man? At this point, that's not worthy news to talk for more than 3 minutes. Whatever. LeBron's still damn near going to be a billionaire. He's still going to do what he's going to do. But the world is getting ready for disaster and striking, and they letting everybody think that the biggest thing going on is that. Billionaires is like, F LeBron, nigga, I'm about to go up, get my underground redoubt set up in New Zealand. And it's the jet fueled up for when this thing goes down. If the world's wealthiest and best connected people knew a catastrophe was approaching, their private jets might reveal it before official sounded the alarm. And if y'all remember that movie, what was it, 2012? The billionaires had that plane, man, and they had to, try to get to the quote unquote ark that only the rich, could have places on the ark reserved for them. I mean, this is exactly what they're doing. That theory was inspired by the programming to build an online apocalypse warning system that monitors more than 31,000 private and business aircraft for signs of an unusual exodus. The website continuously counts how many of the jets are airborne and compares the figure with historical patterns, searching for a surge that could suggest powerful insiders are responding to a looming crisis. So they've got a website now has been created for monitoring these billionaires, companies and private jet owners, that if all of them get to scrambling at one time, it's a notification that disaster is about to strike. They got the inside scoop, and everybody better be prepared because they're running. You understand what I'm saying? Unbelievable. All right, this is the last one here. Bears are running amok in Lake Tahoe and causing chaos among locals. I made mention of this before regarding, the animals now. Look, Sirach 39 tells us that the Most High's got spirits that's created for vengeance, teeth for wild beasts, fire, death, all these other things. You've seen the buffalo go wild over there in Yosemite. Now up there in Lake Tahoe, the bears now are coming down, man, attacking Esau. This is, this little Edomite, man, he had to fend off this bear because he's about to tear his butt up. Hold on. Look at this ag.
Terrifying moments in Lake Tahoe for a man and his two daughters when an aggressive bear suddenly charged them. This dad was ready, though, and what happened
bear
next
was about to tear his butt up, man. If he didn't have that bear spray on him, that'd have been a wrap for him. But it's just going to show you, man, even the animals are sick of this guy. The animals now are upset. They don't want nothing to do with it. So you got the buffaloes, man, tripping. You've got the bears now, or striking back. You name it, man. This place is over with, man. Esau's in a lot of trouble, man. That's why they got the apocalypse warning, system lined up. When they gassing up them jets, man, and they ready to run, oh, everybody gonna know. Everybody gonna know, and they gonna say, "Hell no, we knew they knew. You taking us with you." Down in the jets, doing whatever they can, because they ain't trying to get left behind. But that's what it is, y'all, man. Hey, all the pieces are falling into place. All praise, honor, and glory to the Most High, Yahweh, man. It's your brother, IQAhmath. I acquire first name. IQ is all the same, man. Always remember, fear the Most High, keep the commandments, don't shoot the messenger, man. All right, y'all be well, man. Take care out there. Be safe out there. Lord willing, holler at y'all later. Shalom.